Now we've got the white, we've got the off, and there's the red. So I am currently in the Galley of my 131 SV Windy Daze, and it had an old fluorescent light right here, and I took it out, and instead I went ahead and got this LED light from West Marine. The reason I got this one was it has an on-off switch, it has white light, off, and red light, and I really wanted the ability to have it on or off, white or red. However, the wires just come straight out of the back, and there really isn't space inside the light to bury the connections inside the light. So therefore you want to bury them inside here. Now this space here is not big enough. It's just barely big enough for the wires to come through, and there's not a lot of space back there. In fact, I know there's some conduit running right back behind there. So what I'm going to use, I need to enlarge this hole so I can bury my wires back inside the wall, and that way it'll be a much cleaner hookup than anything else I can do. So that is the project I'm going to be working on right now. I'm going to have to be very careful when I cut this out, and I'll show you which Dremel tool I'm going to use to do it. I've already done a similar project here in my in the head in the bathroom, along with the sink, the new sink. I also put in a new light, once again replacing the old fluorescent light with this LED. And so the thing I really liked about it was the white light, off, or red light. So this is much better than just the fluorescent light that was there before. I will turn off the power. I do have this towel down to collect the dust. I will be wearing a mask to make sure that I'm trying to protect myself as well from the dust that's going to be created when I start to cut that hole larger. Alright, I have enlarged the hole, and as you can see I had to be very careful. This is the Dremel tool I used with the attachment that I used. As you can see, there's quite a few wires right behind that, so I had to be very, very careful as I was going through the wall. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a sander attachment on my Dremel and just lightly sand that so I don't have any sharp edges on the cut. Okay, I've gone ahead and changed the attachment for my small Dremel. It's been used a bit. It's just the sanding attachment. I'm just going to lightly sand the area that I just created so I don't have any sharp edges. Okay, I'm getting ready to attach the wires. The red goes to the blue, the two blue, and the black goes to the two blacks. So it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to use those solderless connectors, and I'm going to tuck those back in the wall once I'm done. And one thing I do want to mention is to get to where you need to for your 4 holes. You need a very small screwdriver, and you have to find the spot. One is here, one is here, and that's where you're going to just carefully lift the lens off. Carefully lifted the lens off. You just have to find the spots. There's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. Now here you can see the 4 places for attaching it to the wall. So I'm going to put it up where I want it to be, and I'm going to make my marks, and then I'll carefully drill the holes. Okay, with a Sharpie, I went ahead and made 2 marks here, 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 and here. What I'm going to probably do is I'm going to drill this one and drill this one, get it set. Then I'll drill this one and this one just to make sure, because sometimes when you do 4 holes, you find out that you're off a little bit. So it's better to do 2. Make sure you got it set right, get 2 more in, and then try again Now I do see where my wires are. Hopefully my wires will be right there in between. But when I go through the wall, I just barely go through the wall. So same thing there. Now I've just put in 2 screws, one here, one here. But with those 2 screws in, now I can make my final mark here and feel confident about it. So that's why I wait. I do this one and this one. That holds the light in place. And I know it's not going to move any. Then I make my final mark for here, and then drill it. Okay, I now have my new 4 holes right here, 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 and here. Now I probably should go back and fill in these holes that you see here that aren't going to be used. I did use the Dremel to drill these holes, and it did a pretty nice job. I was just in fact, the reason I did it was I was able to just very carefully go through. It doesn't really have a point to it. It just has the grinding part on the side, so I knew that even if I went through, it wouldn't hit anything and do any damage. So that's why I went ahead and used it. So I used that end right there on the Dremel tool. Put it in place while I'm going to be doing the wire connections. I went ahead and did this screw right here, because now I'm going to do the wire connections, tuck those back up in here, and then I'll do this screw and the bottom 2 screws. But this will leave me space here to go ahead. And the wires look good. All the wires look good. The cabin light circuit is off. So just to clean up the wires, I just used, a clean wet one. Just to clean up the wires, make them look a little prettier. And once again, it was good to be able to just check to make sure all the wires look good. They all look great. So just by cleaning the wires, I think is a good idea. So that's what I went ahead and did. Okay, I've been able to secure the new lamp in place with the 4 screws. With fiberglass, I don't want to tighten it down too much. You don't want to strip it out. It'll strip pretty easily. So these were the screws that were intended for this light. So you can assume that it's designed for a fiberglass material for it to go into. You can see it's pretty bright. That is the white, off, red. So all I have to do now is put the lens back on and I'm all done. Okay, now I have the new lens in place with just a wet one. I was able to clean right above it where I left a couple of marks. And we'll go ahead and turn it on now. Now we've got the white, we've got the off, and there's the red. So we've got the Galley. So now this project is complete. Galley looks so much nicer. Got a nice well-lit area for taking care of the hungry people on the boat, including yourself. So there's yet another project here on my 131, the Galley, putting in a new LED light on sailing vessel Windy Daze.